EXP. So,
right.
When you're ready, let me know. Oh, okay, cool.
Right. Okay.
And then, man.
How's it going?
Yeah, I mean, what's up, man? Same as yesterday. And you dressed up nice today. I love it.
It's gonna be on big night.
I wish, yeah. Well, I wish it could show everybody. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great one. I mean, there's nothing that should, if you know that you're going to give a great service, then you're going to give a great service, and to ask for a plan B, that's kind of nice
And
for them
then,
to know that they have options.
I think of Hutchins Law Firm where I used to work. And
Right.
so, for the most part, almost every single one of them already have their own people just because of knowing
Right.
people from in there, And so it's like, okay, so I don't even waste my time and reach out to them, or do I still try to know their plan B? Because I know a ton of them who their people are too. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, always.
Too pushy, or is this just?
You always sit anywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those things where if you look at it that you're being pushy, then you're probably being pushy. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of changed the way you look at things. The things you look at change, and you just have to look at it just a little bit differently. I mean, I think it'd be awesome for me to have options as somebody in the market. You know what I mean? And if I do reach out to someone, they don't reach back out to me, and it's just been this whole thing, and we've been,
Are you on yet?
Yeah, it's live,
Oh, sorry.
but it's all good.
I apologize.
I mean, we're waiting. But yeah, it's I don't know. If they reach out to somebody and they're not available, then I'm glad you gave the option of a plan B.
So but it's one of those things also that I have to get in my head that you're gonna get shot down.
Yeah.
And
Oh
you're
yeah.
gonna be real.
100%. You're gonna have people who say that they want to work with you all the way up to the point of you going to the house, you've looked at it, you've taken pictures, you've gotten everything you need, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we decided to go with our neighbor," or whatever. And stuff's gonna happen. It's gonna happen a lot.
So with stuff because I feel like with that, it's like, okay, that would never happen to y'all. Like, there's no way.
Oh
And it
heck yeah.
happens to me, and it's like, oh yeah, it's oddball out.
No,
So
it's gonna
okay.
happen.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
I had a dude I was working for 2 years.
2 years.
He was on my team. I saw him every day at work. He saw what I was doing in real estate and was like, "We're not ready to buy yet, but when it happens, like, you're my guy." For 2 years.
2 years.
Jesus.
So
and then went with somebody else. I was like, "Mother."
yeah.
I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, sorry, my wife wants something." I'm like, "Dude."
Exactly. It's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Just let it roll.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
sign my buyer agency agreement
Mhm.
before I even show them a house.
We're about to
I
get
have a
started.
meeting with them.
I'm just saying to
I tell
people
them
online.
I will not send them houses without it signed.
Yeah, I
Because
do
it's a
anywhere
waste of my
for free.
time.
What's up, Jack?
And I have not had much pushback from that.
Okay.
There's been a few that I've had to go, oh, and I'm like, well, you can even sign it just for a month.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a whole entire time. And I tell them too, like, you don't
All right.
work with me or
So-
have the usual thing.
Oh,
It doesn't work out,
she's good.
no, I'll
She's
let you go.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
today,
and vice
as y'all know, we're gonna talk about tracking. Now I threw it at the team for anybody who's live too. I threw it at the team and I said, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Be more training this time? And they said tracking and a little bit of systems. Tracking and a little bit of systems. So I'm gonna ask everybody online, but everybody, because you guys showed up, obviously, what do you want to get out of this? So if you were to leave and if you were to leave and you got the information you were looking for and it was a 10, what would that information have to be for you to say, man, I'm glad I showed up? What do you want to take out of today?
Something that was already done for me.
What's that? Oh, to
Yeah.
learn how to track?
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimate win is maybe a system that's already created
Okay.
that I can just rip off and duplicate.
So I'm going to do tracking systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ones different ones that people use and the pros and cons from it, I guess.
All right. Pros,
Like vetted tracking systems.
cons of systems. Okay. What else?
Something that's, are we talking specifically things that we look for in systems?
If you were to leave here today and you're like, man, I'm glad I showed up and got
Something I
that.
can implement immediately.
Okay.
With
So like a
with
limited
limited learning curve.
I'm going to just put start now.
Yeah.
All right. What else? You like the little circle underneath my exclamation mark?
Yeah, ease of use, easily repeatable.
All right. Repeatable.
So like an easy implementation, I guess, in the current way of life.
Okay. What else? This is for y'all.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that you thank you for all this.
Everything he's going with is
Yeah.
exactly what I'm looking for.
Oh, hey, whoever's watching and likes the shirt, we sell them. That's so funny. We do sell them. If you just click the link in the description, you'll see merch. You could buy this t-shirt. So what else?
Free.
Free. Oh, free
As
systems.
opposed to paid systems.
Okay. All right. What else? Yeah, I like that too. Yep. He's on a roll, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is like strictly a lot of system specific things, like automated reminders,
Okay.
integration across platforms.
So I'm gonna do auto and integrate. Now I don't know how to spell integrate. Does it start with an I? Okay, go ahead. So you notice when you just started like cursive it at the end, so no one could really judge you. All right. So what else? This is awesome. What's up, Kim? You can sit anywhere, by the way. What else? Anything else?
Something that,
John's on the roll, man.
I mean, really like those leads and lags, right? KPIs, like how can I break it down?
So funny because somebody just said this. Well, I'm put KPI as well, but somebody just said this online too. Is goals. So KPI and goals. Simplicity.
Yeah, simplicity. Sure.
So that goes with easy. I'm just gonna put simple above that. Cool. What about anything from the ladies? And there's a lot up there.
Yeah, so I got one for her. Something.
Okay. I love it.
When she does start using it, it's
Hey, and that's about 95% of agents. I mean, raise your hand if you're tracking right now. Right? One person. And then who's tracking online? Let me know. Right? Because so I'm glad you guys even brought this up because she's like, she's going to call you out.
you're dead.
This man is out here putting gold out. Oh, thank you for everyone. Hey, you're welcome. Set goals. Yep. All right. So, cool. I should have brought that closer, shouldn't I? Or whatever. Yeah. So most agents don't. And oh, by the way, I didn't for like 5 years. Okay. So if you're starting 5 days in, you beat me. 5 months in, you beat me. 1 year in, you beat me. So just know that it's okay. It's okay. But also, if you're writing down notes, one of the things you might want to write down is that numbers are the language of business. So in order for us to really understand where we're going and where we came from and where the gaps are at, it's all numbers. It's all numbers. And in raise your hand if you're an investor in here because we work with most investors, right? So more than half the room. And would you move on emotion or would you move on numbers? Right, exactly, because that's what's going to teach you so much. What's up, Tristan? You the man, Tristan. All right, so in terms of tracking, so I'm going to give you what I used to do first, and then we're going to kind of progress. Is that cool with everybody? Awesome. So the first thing I did for no excuses, when people say, man, I don't know what to track, I don't have the time to track, I don't have the things to track, I just used a piece of paper. And one of these bad boys drilled into my wall when I was, just starting off in real estate. I had one of these drilled into my wall.
Where'd you get that?
Walmart?
Yeah, Home Depot.
Right off?
I want like a Johnny.
It's
You can buy it by the channel too. You can buy it by the channel.
Oh, yeah. I think they even got paint now.
Yeah.
So if you just want to paint a whole wall and just say numbers are the name of the game or whatever and just start tracking. I didn't have a girlfriend or a wife at the time, so I was allowed to like drill this bad boy into my room, my bedroom. But this is how I first started doing it, and along with this piece of paper. And all I would do is, so let me ask you this, and what are some of the stuff I would write down on this piece of paper? What are some things that you would track?
Like my outbound interactions, so text messages.
So outbound. What else?
Any inbound stuff. Like,
Inbound? Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And then where it's coming from.
Coming from. Ooh, I like that one. There's a lot of lessons learned on that one for me, and I'll share that here in a second. But what else?
I mean, a lot of the stuff is encompassed within the CRMs that exist.
Right.
Are there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the things that I would track is obviously outbound, inbound, and honestly coming from. So when social media was it still is a big thing, but like Snapchat was bigger and all that, I would see, man, how many contacts am I getting from these different platforms? And that's when you really start to understand where you should be spending most of your time. Now, again, I used to use a piece of paper. Who would want to know what that piece of paper is called? I'm just trying to get some interaction. Tracker. What else? So it would be called, or it was called this, and I can send it to you. If you're watching live, just say, just daily activity report. That's right. How do you know that?
I watched the video.
Oh, okay.
Your calendar video.
Yeah. Oh, my calendar video. Yeah. So the daily activity
I've read
report.
myself a couple times.
That's awesome, man. I
We're
appreciate
getting better.
I'm glad the videos aren't just, out there for,
It's auto.
so someone said tracking sheet. Yeah, exactly. But it's a daily activity report, and it was a piece of paper that looked just like this. And it had times written down all the way down from the top to bottom. Now, I made a larger one called the opportunity tracker or something like that. But it's broken down in 30-minute increments, and you get to write down who you were with, what you did, where the lead came from, what you're doing with your time, all of that. And including over here on this side, it had an appointments, kind of a bunch of squares of tracking how many appointments you have. That's how I started off, was a DAR. Now, who would want that? Anybody in this room want a piece of paper that's called a DAR, or the daily activity report, to carry around with you? No? That's how I started. Okay? And then I would take a picture of it, scan it, go back to my house, and write it on this board that I had hanging up in my wall. Because that was to basically put me in check every single day. I can act like I did a lot, but if I looked at the board and there was only a few marks up there, did I really do a lot? No, I convinced myself I did a lot, right? And the numbers are going to tell me no matter what. Yeah, Jack. All right, so Jack wants the daily activity report. Opportunity tracker is the other one. But it showed me my outbound, my inbound, where things were coming from as well. Now, believe it or not, the way that some of the tracking systems out there are the daily activity report, because obviously that's a tracking system, but you also have more virtual ones. Now, I will say this will tie in with free and tracking system, which is what I use now, which is a simple Google Sheet. A Google Sheet. All right. Now I'm going to show you what's on this Google Sheet, so that way it can help you, and it's also going to align with your goals. So the Google Sheet looks like this. We have CA at the top left, which, by the way, all you, I'm going to send my Google Sheet to you, okay? But CA, what does CA mean?
Current activity.
Current activity.
I don't know.
Some of the stuff that we need to track, lagging indicators and all of this, is a contact attempt. So if we're going to attempt to reach out to somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean we talk to them. That could be open house, that could be cold calls, that could be expireds, that could be warm leads, that could be really whatever. But a contact attempt, why do I need to know how many contact attempts I have?
So you actually talked to them, didn't you? So you can do your
KPIs
KPIs.
will come here in a second.
So you're actually, well, I mean, it trickles down long term, because you can generate actual, numbers. Like, I have to call this many people to actually make this money.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because we run what's called, we have a conversion, and this is where the numbers are going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing and at what rate. So contact attempt is something I'll track every single day. So this morning I contact attempted 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 31 people this morning. 31 people. So let's just write 31 for now. What else do I need to track? What's the C mean?
How many actually you talk to?
Contact. Pop quiz, what's a contact? Somebody responds back.
They're in your database.
They're in my database because it's 3 things. So a contact is 3 things. And I'm just, obviously this is important with all of this. So I'm going to just write contact. 3 things. Number 1, database. Number 2, who said that? Notes. Number 3, follow up. The big FU. That's right. Follow up. So if I have reached out to 31 people, these people are already in my database. I already have notes on them. And I'm gonna set up a follow-up only once I've talked to them, because I don't know what we're talking about or what we need to follow up on. It's only a contact attempt. So 3, I'm going to give you my real numbers. And by the way, this is so far, right? So from this morning to where we're at now, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 10 to make it simple. I made 10 contacts off 31 contact attempts so far. All right. What do you think's the next thing I'm going to track? If there's a result I'm looking for in the business, we got contacts. I talked to 10 people. What's the goal? What's the focus?
Turn into a lead.
Turn into a lead.
Or a
How would
prospect or
a sale, which would be more of an in-game result? But what happens before the sale? What needs to happen?
You build a relationship with them?
For sure. Always build a relationship with them. What can I track?
well, I mean, the number of people you get to like continue conversation with.
Yeah, and how would you continue that conversation? What would be
Set up a meeting with them.
set up in a meeting or an appointment? Now, what are some appointments that we can set up that I need to track? You thought I'd just be up here standing and just blah, blah, blah. It's like, dang, he's asking too many dang questions.
Listing, showings,
Listing appointments.
like CMA stuff.
So I'm going to do LA for listing appointment, which was huge when I was more in production. Listing appointments were number one. More than a buyer appointment. We needed listings. We needed the inventory. Imagine walking into a quick stop and they have no inventory. You'd walk right back out. What if you were the controller of the inventory? You walked into a quick stop and you had all the products. Then the buyers are going to come to you, right? So listing appointment. How about this one? This is a new one. What's the M? Meeting. Meet for just to get to know the database a little bit better, right? Something that we're going to be doing in 2023. If y'all know comms, 2023, meet is going to be one of them. What about, so we got this one. What about, we got listing appointments. What's this? Buyer appointments. All right. And then what's this? So these are the things that I'm tracking, by the way, off my contacts made. What's the T? Close. Talent. Because you're going to eventually maybe want them on the team, right? So you could do team. You do team/talent, right? So let's do this. I made 10 contact attempts. And let's say that these 31 contact attempts, 10 contacts made. Let's say I was able to set 2 listing appointments from those contacts made. Now I've set 2 listing appointments. What are because these are going to be the appointments. I'm just going to write this, appointments. What are the results that are going to come from the appointments? I need a bigger board, which is crazy. What are some of the things that are going to come from the appointments?
Leads.
Leads, but what does a lead mean?
I would say like if the conversation goes the right way and you're asking them, hey, do you know anyone that needs to sell or buy? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, we're doing that here,
Okay.
right?
And
And they're like, yeah, my brother is looking to sell. Just like, great.
So now you're
I'm setting a listing appointment.
Then I have no idea.
Not yet, but you're close. Yeah, right. You're coming up on it though. So what are some other things? And this will obviously be down here. Contract,
Or like
agreement, because these are going to be the agreements. Listing appointment or listing appointment. You're going for that agreement. Buyer agency. I never actually do the agreement to her writing an offer, but
Sarah, what else could come from those?
what is going to what's the goal to come from these appointments is to finally get them
Under contract.
So I'm gonna do closed.
Okay.
I'm gonna do closed, and then Shelby and them. What they used to track too was under contract, which is important as well. Because obviously, if we're going on listing appointment, buyer appointments, we're trying to get them under contract and then eventually closed, right? Along with GCI, and then net. And you could check. You could do volume as well. I tried volume. Volume's a fun one because you can see if you're increasing your sales price or not at the end of the year. Now look at this. Does this look absolutely bonkers? Or do you like it? Do you not like it? What does this start to look like if you had a sheet that you could plug your numbers into every single day to find? And I'm going to show you more of where this can make sense, but this is the very, very basics. This is where it all starts. I do 2 listing appointments. I put one of those under contract. I have, let's say, 0 closed right now, which means I have 0 GCI, blah, blah. What is the contact attempt to contact made You okay?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Contact attempt to contact made. What's the ratio there? How many contact attempts do I need to do to make a contact? What would be the ratio?
3 to 1.
3 to 1, which is powerful to know. How many, where are we at here? 10 contacts made to 2 listing appointments. 5 to 1. So now we got 2 listing appointments, 1 under contract. Where are we at? Or 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
Isn't that 2 to 1?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. 2 to 1. Now, we could back this up all the way to what our close goal would be. Someone give me a close goal of what you want every single month.
2.
4.
2, 3, 4. Let's 5. So
Depends on the price point.
no, well, and it depends on the goal, the person, and everything. I want 400 a month. All right, so let's do this. Let's say the goal is 5 closed a month. How many how many would we have to have under contract in order to close 5? Oh, we're not here yet. So excuse me, let's go back. Let's go to under contract, sorry. So we want 5 under contract, 2 to 1 being on the listing appointments. How many listing appointments would we need to go on in order to put 5 under contract? 10. All right. And then how many contacts do we need to make in order to go on 10 listing appointments? If we got a 5 to 1, you can pull out your mortgages.
Say that again?
Well, we're gonna need,
Closings for the listing. Okay. 20?
More than that.
50.
50. 50. So we're going to do 50 contacts. And then how many contact attempts, knowing that we run a 3 to 1? 150? So now if we're going to work this is a month, right? Because we're running monthly goals. So if you're running 150, if that becomes your goal, I'm going to do 150. Actually, somebody do this too. 150 divided by 4, what do you get? If we got 4 weeks, how much? So what do we do when we get a point? We always round up. Yep, 38. And if we're working Monday through Friday making these contacts, we're doing 38 divided by 5, which so the daily goal for contact attempts would be 8.
See, that's not bad. when you break it
No.
down. The 150 will get you overwhelmed, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The 8, you're like,
And that's 150. I did 30 today. So imagine what you could accomplish if you were to just block it out and put it up there. Let me just see if there's any questions. So this is, I guess right here is what I just want to show you more of the importance of tracking those numbers, because it's going to give you the conversions that tell you exactly what your goal should be and what it shouldn't be. And if you need to tighten this up or tighten this up or tighten this up. Does that make sense? Questions on this?
is that gross commission income? Is that GCI?
GCI is gross commission income, yeah. So you're going to have let's say, $5,000. And if you're netting at the end of the month, $500, there's an issue. Right? So we need to look at this and say, hey, where's our money going? This makes no sense. We shouldn't be netting only $500 unless you're a brand new business and there's a lot of overhead you got up front. Questions on this? Does this make sense?
Perfect.
I like it.
Right? All right. So wish I had a bigger eraser. Is there an eraser back there? Because this is mine. The little tip of this right here.
Is there a Kleenex somewhere?
Is there not? That's all right. That's all right. Actually, I'll use this until, let me do this right here.
Does your Google Sheet have formulas built into it to fill those out?
No, reason being is because I haven't figured out how to do that. And honestly, it doesn't take long. Man, that looks like crap. It doesn't take long. It's all good. I got the whole team checking this out. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
This might mess you up with like.
Is it super, super wet? Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good. Can y'all sit? That's fine, right?
Yeah,
Right. We're not. It's not too bad. So no, it doesn't have where you can do automated formulas. But what I do, and literally do this every single day, I just throw away the first paper. Who thinks they can buy a $2 notepad.
It's not in the budget.
Right, it's not in the budgets. Right. You have some issues right here, my friend. You know what I mean? So write off, right? But also, and I'm going to pass it. So sorry, guys that are live. Check it out. It says CA, contact attempts, CAA, contact attempt agents. So I'm also reaching out to agents. Why? Oh, thank you.
Talent,
Prospecting talent for sure. Prospecting for what?
rev share.
Rev share for talent, but referrals. So we can get referral. Remember what we were talking about yesterday?
I was gonna ask on that, is that really a thing you can do when you're not gonna be like frowned upon in business almost?
You were on live and you heard us talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you could totally do that.
I would look at it as you're asking to do the work for them.
Yeah.
And is it like across the board 25% that they get? Is that like where
You can
start,
make, that's
or-
where you're at. I do 30%
Okay.
on the low end.
I don't want to hear
You don't have to.
this.
I got more agents raising their hand. But that's the reason why you always ask. That's why I want to track how many agents I need to reach out to in order to get a referral or to just find talent. Right? And so that's why I track it. I got the contact made. And then these are a few other things that I track. This is all on that sheet. I just want to explain it because when you guys sit down and you start doing it, you're going to know exactly what it is. Okay. There are a few other things that I track from my own database. It's this and this. So as I'm reaching out to the agents, as I'm reaching out to non-licensed people, making those contacts, trying to set up appointments, there are two other things. And Mike Glassby told me to start tracking this about a year and some change ago. So thank you, Mike, if you're watching, because it's helped out. But what do you think these are? So these are right near my contact made. So a contact made happened for these things to happen. You just want to take a guess. I know it's kind of like
Call return, text returns?
something received,
Contract received? Talent received?
talent received.
Okay.
So that's my database feeding me talent. And I want to track that. I want to know how much talent is coming from my own database. Good point. Or thank you for that. Talent, they have to be licensed already. I'm not tracking someone who says this person would be great in real estate and still going to school because there's a conversion of people who go to school and never pass, right? We're only looking for people who passed. All right. And then what's this one?
Not contracts. Contacts.
Contact received. So if my database says, yo, my sister is looking to buy a home in Missouri. Great. What is her name and number, right? We got to add them to the database, add notes, add follow-up. As soon as I do that, I track it. Because I want to know how many referrals are coming from my database, both contact and contact and talent.
And then maybe why they decided to reach out to you specifically at that moment. You know what I mean?
And that'd be in the notes of that person in my database, 100%. Because ultimately, people don't. They're going to move with emotion,
Sure.
not so much logic. Emotion makes people act. Logic makes people think. And you need to know why they even want to make the switch, 100%. And by the way, buyers and sellers, right? You need to know why they need to sell or buy. And that'll go in the notes. That's great. I'm looking up my actual numbers right now. I'll tell you real quick.
And I would say even have what are your thoughts on this? Even having another tracker just for those marketing, you know what I mean? Like, hey, oh yeah, I saw your thing on Facebook, whatever that. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
cool.
sure. Just
Facebook
it's like
gets
an
a
ad
tip.
spend.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's something,
so
yeah.
like ad spend, like if you're doing that thing or like really where to focus your efforts, like we were talking about initially.
Exactly. So and year to date, I'm just going to say this. Year to date, you know how many referrals we've gotten from talent and contact together? Because I got a text from one of our agents like, yo, don't say warm leads. Where else do you get your leads? And I'm like, yo, I'm a database guy. That's all I get it from, literally. You know how many referrals? Year to date. So, of course, we still have this month left. Year to date,
We have 3 or 4 digits.
3. It's a good first question.
Before I start throwing that there. 450?
450, no, not that much.
110.
Whatever. Close. It was 150, I want to say. 150. So you divide that into 12, what's that?
A little over 12.
A little over 12, is it? All right. So 12.5. Woo. 12.5. 12.5 divided by 4. Who would like 3 referrals a week? It's all database work, everything I've taught you. But how would I know that if I wasn't tracking it? Thanks, Mike, again. Told me to track that. It made sense to track that. So it's something else I track. Here's something else I track. This is all on that sheet. And what should I have done before this? Printed out the sheet so you guys could see it. Exactly. Which this is the first time I've ever taught like tracking. So I'm kind of on the fly. But next time I will have a printout. Huh?
I feel like you've done this before.
No.
Like,
So this is something else I track. What is this?
positives and negatives.
Positive and negatives. We try to fill this bucket all day, right? Of positives. But no, what do you think it is?
Moving forward or not moving forward?
What's up? What's up, Lucas? No. This is an interesting number.
How many people you added in and how many people you subtracted
Boom.
out? Yeah.
How many people have added to the database? That's interesting. I wonder how many people I'm adding every quarter, every month, every year to the database, being fed from my own peeps. But there's a conversion. This is when you start nerding out, right? There's a conversion to how many people you've added to how many people I put a negative. We don't necessarily take them out, right? We don't ever take anybody out of the database ever, but we do stop what? Following up with them. And so I have a number right here. There is a conversion to this number and this number. I'm going to show you, I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. So let's see, 2020, hold on one second. Where'd you go? Load, pass, goal and actual 2022. All right. So we have, so let's just do this because the number's already there. Let's say third quarter, I added 123 people to the database, third quarter of this year. This is how many people I stopped communicating with. Why?
Because you don't want to waste your time on the 136 that aren't responding.
Exactly. So my database sent me either talent or a contact. I ran my what on these people? What's the first thing I do? 7 days of pain. Now, if they're not going to communicate with me, that's part of this. What if they did communicate with me and they were a buyer or a seller that's like, yo, I need you to do this. Now you're going to be the one to do this. Whenever I say jump, you jump. I'm like, go ahead for yourself. For who's live, love you too. But like, no, that's not going to happen. No, you can find somebody else to do that. So what this conversion happens is, yeah, you get sent people, but you're looking for quality people in your life, people who add to your life and people who multiply your life. We're not looking for dividers or subtractors. Isn't that interesting? More people I quit communicating with than that were added to my database. Only when you start tracking, you can start seeing that number. And guess what? We were breaking all-time records. So the quality of people were better versus the quantity. And that's how we were able to track that. I do track my RV stuff, which that doesn't have to happen here. And then very specific questions about EXP. Yeah. How many contact sims contact made and who signed up? This one right here isn't as big. I don't do this often. Like today, 5 people, which I guess that is, but that's more than what I usually do a day. For whatever reason, it fell on today. And then from that, how many appointments? And then from that, how many people after the appointment do I find that it's going to be a good fit for us? And they want to also then sign up. And I know my own conversions on that as well. Questions so far?
On your contacts received and your talent received, you say year to date, that's 150 transactions or like referral fees, or what's that one?
This?
Yes.
Anybody want to answer that?
People.
Okay. Oh, okay, I see. All right.
Yep, that were given to me. Contact receive and talent receive from my database. So all these numbers are from my database.
So the 3 is adding 3 contacts to your database a week.
Yeah.
Got
Yep. Either talent or contact. But it's in 2 specific blocks. You'll see in the Excel spreadsheet once I send it to you because I didn't print it out. You'll see it. So you're tracking it like that. I just combined it for simplicity up here. questions on this?
It's awesome.
Yeah. Any questions? Questions for anybody who's watching? Hold on, let me
Do
read.
you also track out of the 150 where that went? And like what your return on investment on that is?
In terms of money?
Or
Or
just
just
like
your-
where, like, which ones were positive, I guess, out of that, and which ones were negative? Well, not really negative yet, because it hasn't been that long, but which
Right.
one, like, out of the 150, how much of that like brought profit in any type of way?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So you can go super deep with tracking, and that might be something I need to track. So the question was, out of the 150, what was my ROI on the 150?
Yeah.
What is great, that something that we do, which I love that we do, is we don't just teach you guys buyers and sellers, right? Obviously that's the big stuff, but we do talk a lot about investing as well, right? So with this 150, now these 136 are definitely dividers in my life. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. I can have people who came as a talent referral. Ooh, here's a good script for you guys. Came as a talent referral in here. I tracked it. They came in. I added them to the database. But what I found is that they weren't talent, right? Maybe we're just not, it's just not a good fit or something's happening. Well, that's fine. What are other call to actions? So I don't take them off follow-up. I keep them on follow-up, but I won't ask them for talent. Talent hangs around talent. Non-talent hangs around with more non-talent, right? So what are other call to actions I can do to this person?
Direct them another way.
Yeah. For referrals, yeah. Oh, direct them another way, kind of.
Let them down easy.
Ask for a referral, let them down easy. No, I mean, like if
Oh, if you're not going to take talent from them.
yeah, if they're just like,
Yeah, referrals definitely.
ask for referrals. Here's another thing I've said, and this goes for people who are going to real estate school, which isn't necessarily in this number, but hasn't been able to pass. I say, hey, listen, the next deal that comes your way, anybody you know looking to buy or sell a home, how about our team takes it, you shadow it to see if this is a good industry you want to be a part of. What did we do? We got a deal out of it, although they never really got licensed and they kind of came in as talent, which we do that all the time. Which I just did that yesterday or this morning. If they're watching, it's part of the process. It's part of the process, what we do. Yeah. Also, what if they're local? Hey, do you switch it up. Take an RV out. How about our Airbnbs, right? I know I'm writing sloppy now, but so anybody who comes in doesn't necessarily have to be the talent or a buyer or seller. There's more call to actions that we can do with them once you start doing the warm lead database work stuff. Any questions on the tracking though? Man, to me, that's like a cool picture. It's nerdy, ton of numbers, acronyms. That's my world. What questions do you have on this? Because I'm about to go a step further. No questions?
You do a great job explaining it.
Yeah. No questions from me. This isn't even in my field. I'm just enjoying the point of view into something I don't know anything about. My brain keeps doing math things though while I'm watching this. Perfect. Tracking is so important. It is. All right. So something I call, all right. So you're out and about. Let's start at home and then we'll go out and about. You're at home. You're tracking because you're starting to reach out to people. You're starting to do all that. How do you keep track? This is how I always keep track on this piece of paper. I got my CA, my CAA, we just explained that. CR, TR, contact made. CO for coaching appointments. You don't have to necessarily do that, but meeting clients. We got meeting clients, buyers and sellers, talent, add, subtract, RV, EXP. And I keep track of that. Just regular old, this is what it is. Oh, I just made a contact attempt. Oh, I just made a contact attempt. Oh, that's it. Oh, I just made a contact. That's it. It all goes here. But ultimately, you need a landing pad because this can get burnt. It can get thrown away. If you got kids, the disaster can happen to this thing, right? Like all types of stuff. So what's your landing pad? And the landing pad is going to be the Google Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to send you or Google Sheets that I'm going to send you. Every single night, you have to remember to plug this stuff into your landing pad or every single morning. That's what I do. I do it every single morning into your landing pad and keep track every single day. What issues do you think might come from that?
If you forget to put it in,
And how could you not forget to put it in?
by putting it into your calendar to have a set time to do that.
Exactly.
It's such an interesting conversation because I do like literally the same approach for like goal setting and stuff. Like if you can relate it to whatever, like maybe I know that's not a short conversation.
No, go for it.
Like nutrition, like I want to lose weight
Oh.
this year, right? I want to lose 15 pounds this year. And then, okay, break that down. Like, what does that mean? What goes into the aspect of changing your body composition? You know, nutrition, exercise.
Yep.
You know, how much water you're taking, and then put that. I have that literally on a spreadsheet, and then, you know.
She's laughing because she knows. She's like, I see this every day.
Yeah, if I did that for the day, like it's already like predetermined end state, like what success looks like, and then if I do that, that day gets a check mark. And then at the end of the month, I'm like, okay, I only did this, you know, correctly 72% of the time. That's
Yeah.
maybe not why I'm getting the result I'm looking for.
The reason, I mean, and numbers chunk it down to a daily activity, which is awesome. But the reason why I like numbers too is because there's no emotion attached to it.
Right.
It is what it is. It tells you if you did good or if you didn't do good. On that Excel spreadsheet I'm going to send you, we'll have a goal and actual. A goal and actual. What's your goal? How many? Because if you know, like I'm texting some of you, I'm like, all right, so how many? Like when are you doing this? Send me a picture of your work, blah, 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 because it's going to help me understand your goal and then help me understand where you are at actually. The goal and actual will just expose you. No emotion tied to it. You either hit it or you didn't, right? And that's what I love about that. So on this Excel spreadsheet, you're going to have Monday through Friday on this Excel spreadsheet, okay? From that, you're going to add up that, and then what do you think's underneath the Monday through Friday, which is the weekly numbers? What else? We're going to add up Monday through Friday, and then what are we going to have underneath this? That we're going to add it up and put on this line at the end of the week. Total added to
Database or
week 1. Monday through Friday is 1 week. Monday through Friday
Oh, I
next
see.
week. Yep. So we're going to do week 1 through, it's going to go through week. There's a week 5 on there because some months have 5 weeks. Underneath that, what do you think it's going to be? Months. So we're going to do January through, let's just do it right here, December. So you're going to track Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday or whatever you do work. This is where I can't figure out how to do the formula because it varies. And Kim, if you can figure it out, I will love you forever.
Well, let me hear what you got.
Which I kind of like adding it up like an old man, like it's weird. But it's kind of sad. So I'll add it up and I'll put it, on week 1. Then the second week within the month, I'll add it up. I'll put it in week 2, blah, blah, blah. Once the month is done, I'll add it up, add it to January. 2, it is. And it's kind of satisfying, man. It really is. What things I highlight, which you don't have to do, is all-time records. I want to know my all-time records. I want to know the months that hurt the worst and in what year. So you can go back and look year-over-year numbers or month-over-month numbers, which is kind of fun too. But so we've done all this, and we finished first quarter. You heard me spit off some first, second, third quarter numbers because every quarter, this is where I said I'm going to up what we're talking about. Every quarter, you'll see it on the document. It's going to say something like, adjust. Why? It's like, I feel like you should come up here and take the end of this.
Yeah, that's good.
Someone said, hi. Why do you think it says adjust every quarter? 2 reasons.
because you either overshot your goal or you undershot your goal.
Yep. So
you either that's why.
yeah, so say if your goal, let's just say to keep it simple, your contact attempts was 100. We got goal and actual. The goal was 100 for the quarter. You did 90. What do we need to adjust?
Look on your daily activity report.
Yeah, if you're looking at that, that's definitely going to give you.
Whatever we were just going through.
Yep. So hold on. What did I say this goal was for contacts? Is that what I said? Or contact attempts? What did I say? Contacts. So let's say your contact goal was 100. You hit 90. What do we need to adjust? Contact attempts. So now you're going to go back to your contact attempts, and maybe it said 300. Well, now you need to bump that up to about 350 for the month. 50 divided by 4 is not that much of an increase. So we're going to adjust for, let's say this was first quarter. Second quarter goals will be 350 until we can sharpen this up, this conversion to be a better conversion. We need to talk to more people, get more comfortable on the phone. Maybe it's a scripts conversation, but the number just showed me, oh, that's what I need to fix in my business. I've been complaining about the attorney and the lender. It's not that. It's this. This is my fault, and this is how I can correct it. The numbers will show you that. Okay, so we didn't hit goal. So what happens if we... Okay, so this is a good one. Let's do 150. Now, this is interesting, right? So if your contact goal was 100, but you made 150, but also your contact attempts were 300, why do you think you have more contacts made than your goal, but you did the same amount of contact attempts? This is getting deeper. This was a cool fact for me in 2021.
The demand for houses were higher, so they were like looking for agents more. Like what he's saying, basically.
They were looking for agents?
Yeah, the contacts were actually reaching out to me.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. So you were getting more people reaching out to you than you were reaching out to people, which is cool. That's a cool place to be in your business, you know? So, but that's what's happening. So now my quarter says adjust. I exceeded goal. What do I need to adjust? What do you need to adjust? To be what? Right. Be at what or higher? Be 150 or higher. So now the next second quarter, now we're looking at 150 or higher. Always adjust. And it doesn't keep you comfortable, and it will always put you in a position of, man, do I need to fix my tools, my systems, or do I need more people? TSP. But this will teach you. What questions you guys got on this?
Because I know mine right now, for the 10 people or the 10 places for the pools that I have, like in the numbers, like how it wasn't a lot. So I'll start there, and then from there, it'll just keep building and building, and the contact attempts will be more, and the goals go up and stuff from there. Okay.
Yeah, when you first start out and you start tracking all this, your conversions are going to be junk.
Yeah.
But so what? You know, fast forward 6 months, because you're still going to be in the business 6 months, right? How about in about a year?
Oh, yeah.
About 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's just going to get better and better and better and better and better. But it never gets better if you don't start. Right? Then you're complaining about what you tolerate, which is ridiculous. Questions?
Do you just track, what's your approach for tracking your return on investment on all this?
Which one? So if it's
Gross commission income versus net.
yeah. So okay. All right. Okay. So because I know it's just not going to apply as well. But what do you think my overhead is every single month in real estate?
0.
No, not 0, because I do pay a monthly fee with EXP and all of that.
Just within real estate or with all of it?
Well, if you're talking about referrals and sales, that's one business. RV, another business. Airbnb, blah, blah, blah. So let's just do this one.
Very little. Very little.
Yep. But if I were to attach a number to very little, what would that be?
Like monthly?
I'll do approximate. Huh?
Yeah,
Pretty
like
much.
$200?
No,
200. Approximately 200. What is the average sales price?
180.
180 for you?
No, for me?
Because it ain't for the market for show.
Really?
Nah, it's higher now. So I'll do 2021. Remember I said we'll track volume too? So my average sales price in 2021 was 225. 225. Oh, that's funny. 02. Don't know how that happened.
Okay.
But let's do 225,002 times. We just put one under contract today. It was a listing. What was the percent we went for? 8%. So on our side we had 4.5. Kim, the 5%er. I'm gonna do 4.5. Right. So I'm gonna do 4.5 equals, oh shoot, I didn't do percent. Sorry. 002 times 4.5% equals 10 grand. Now I'm going to times that by 30%. Remember, that's my referral fee. So times 30% equals 3 grand. Now I'm going to times that by 80%. Say I'm not capped, right? So I'll do 80% at EXP, 2,400. Now what I'll probably do is take about $400 off because I am part of the stock system where you get discounted stock and all that. So 2 grand. Or is that, no, wait, that wasn't 2 grand, was it? Was that where? Yeah, 2 grand. Okay, 2 grand. That's one referral. So do I really need to be so specific on my ROI per client when we run such a low overhead business?
I would, but no, you don't.
I don't. I don't feel like I do.
Yeah.
If we were running more overhead, we had people that were hired and all of this, then I have to start looking at what's the cost acquisition per client. But golly, man, we're at $200 a month, you know? Which is also another reason why we push not to buy leads. Not yet. Don't do it. Don't go do marketing. Don't do any of that. Stick to your warm leads. Those are high conversions. We'll figure out the rest later. But so no. So that's where I was like, it's not going to really fit for all.
See kind of like where that was with you.
Yeah, but what you could do, going back to it, which this is all database work now, but it used to be Facebook, Instagram. I used to track it all. So if I found out, you know, I had Facebook 20 leads for the year, Snapchat, which I used to get leads off Snapchat. It's just not a thing anymore. I used to use Snapchat, which is what Facebook did or Instagram did. Right now it's stories because they saw Snapchat. So now I just use stories on Instagram. But yeah, if I these are my 3 biggest platforms, 10 and let's say 30, and then per those clients, depending if it was a referral out of state or maybe here, maybe let's say I made, I don't know, 10,000. That's very low for 20 leads. 5,000, and then 3,000 for 30 leads. So that who knows how that happened? But where would I spend my lead? Where would I spend my time? Facebook.
I mean,
Yep. Less people, more money. So you could totally start tracking your people. You got to start tracking it. This Excel spreadsheet you can adjust. So you can add your own blocks to it, right? Start tracking that, how many people came from it, and then who closed from it and how much money. Divide that into that if you wanted to, but you can clearly see less time, more money, Facebook. Yeah, that's exactly what I started doing. It was on LinkedIn. I got a picture of it. Maybe I'll show you guys that too, but yeah. So no, I don't, because one, guide database, and we just run so low overhead. It doesn't, for us, we're good. Good question though. What else? Let me make sure I went through here. So pros and cons of other systems. I only run one. So I don't know the cons of the others. If you have to pay for it, then for me, it's like, meh, whatever. I wish I had more answers for you on the pros and cons of other systems.
Anybody else use a different system, or
Anybody else use a different system live too? But anybody else?
you're using Cable for now, or
No. So LionDesk is a CRM. Don't ever recommend it. But tracking, just a Google Sheet. This piece of paper in a Google Sheet.
so your database is Google Sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're using LionDesk just to organize your contacts, that's it?
My whole world.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're not using that as.
There is no
you're not looking
tracking
at
in
your-
it.
at your tracking in there. Okay.
They have their own numbers in there, but I don't rely
Right,
on it.
exactly.
Yeah, I run
Well,
mine.
it's like what you're saying, it overcomplicates it. All you
It
need
does.
is what you
Exactly,
Yeah.
because backing all this up, what's
'Cause they're
really
gonna have like 1,000 things to track, and you know,
Yeah.
there's gonna be distractions at that point.
exactly. And if you were looking at which leads straight, oh, did any of y'all have other tracking systems?
I was gonna try to use KV Core to kind of do it, like in the database with all the notes and all that stuff, but I wouldn't, like, this makes so much more sense.
It's
Yeah.
so much easier
Because
too,
I was
guys.
so gung ho with this KV core thing.
Well, I'm still.
Use KV Core for the
Yeah.
CRM,
Really?
Yeah.
but not.
Not for tracking, not for tracking.
Okay.
He said it, not me.
Okay.
It really is, when you really get into all the capabilities of it.
Well, because I remember I just went to the training and I was like, good God, like this is so much. And I just wanted everything to be in there, but
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
I'm still
Yeah.
working on it.
because I know you
I
have
have
your
your truck.
contacts in there, you
I don't
have your
think so.
notes in there, you
Yeah.
can like do all that stuff in there, but As far as this in depth, I do not think so.
Well, it's two different
Yeah.
end states.
Yeah. 100%.
Client-based, follow-up, all
Yeah.
that crap, and then no shit track business.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Input, output.
You know, it's interesting for the RV.
Numbers.
I do contact attempts within my database, contact made, and bookings, and then gross bookings and actual bookings, which is
The
an
numbers are good on that.
interesting number. But guess how many come from my database? People who book the RV.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
Well, at least that's the way it would have started. Now you might be
Question.
more.
How many bookings do you think I got from my database in terms of the RV rental
I'd say at least 75%.
For a year?
for 1 year?
At least 75%.
We got 75. This would be interesting because
I'm gonna say-
right here I'm tracking. I'm also tracking this because it's a newer.
5,000 people in your database, though, right?
I've got like
Yeah, I'd
almost
say it's
3.
less than that. I think it's probably very seasonal, personality based.
what do you guys think?
33%.
33%,
62.
62%.
I don't know, I saw that, was trying to.
I wanna see those
Trying to
RV.
find it now.
No, and I was like, come on, man. It was like, I almost convinced my dad.
I wanted to. Yeah.
It might be. I would have guessed 90%, but I'm trying to lower
So
it.
this might blow you
Also,
away.
if you reach out, you are very much likely to
Right.
follow through. Yeah.
Zero.
What?
Not one.
That's crazy.
You know where they're all coming from? Because I'm tracking Google, people who are reaching. Because
Nice.
part of the process when somebody does get a booking, I send them questions. Who's coming with you? You know, like, do you smell? You know, those type of things. But- No, yeah, that's not in there. But where did you find us is one of the questions, right? Never my database. People are like, yeah, I'm gonna love to. I would love. Never.
Hmm.
Yeah.
At least from our first year. You know where majority are coming from?
Google Ads.
Nope. So I don't run ads.
A platform that it's listed on.
TikTok.
Yeah, the platform is listed on.
Yeah.
So it's on Outdoorsy.
Outdoorsy.
Oh, okay.
Outdoorsy. So yeah, tracking CRM, Instagram, Facebook, and Google. And Outdoorsy outweighs it all.
Oh, yeah.
Right now we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 bookings so far, gross. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 that actually happened. So there's a conversion there of, and what could we do better? Now, this isn't my main focus is the RV, but that would be interesting. What we're getting gross to this, what's going on? Is it just life? What's going on with them? Is
Are
it
you-
payments?
are your
Can I
terms-
adjust?
I was going to say your terms too loose for following through on their end.
It's not a big focus of mine. You know,
Yeah.
it pays for
What is
itself,
that
which is great.
compared to your Airbnbs that
Oh, Airbnb's out.
actually.
Airbnb's outweigh it because why? Right? Because cash flow, which is cool. Equity RV doesn't even touch it in terms of equity. Write-offs, no. RV doesn't even touch it in terms of write-offs. Tax protection, blah 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 blah. Everything real estate is. That's why I love real estate. It's not just a cash flow thing.
Okay.
You know, it embodies a lot. RV is just a fun thing. It does cash flow, but
Pays for itself, yeah.
it does pay for itself. Yeah. So that I am tracking this, and that'd be interesting for you guys to track, especially if you're starting off in the beginning. Where are my leads coming from? But don't ignore the database, please. Don't go too far into somewhere yet. I say yet because you will hit a point where the database has fed you enough, and you need to fatten that bad boy back up. How are you going to do that? That's when we can get a little bit more creative. But the numbers would tell you that. What other questions or concerns? Obviously, this right here, you can start now with the Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to send you. Boom. This is a very easy and repeatable system. Once you do many years, again, it gets fun when you look year over year and everything and how your conversions are. We run, so pop quiz, warm lead to appointment or warm lead to a piece of business. How many warm leads do you need to reach out to get a piece of business? What's the conversions?
3 to 1.
3 to 1? Mm-mm. And it says this in a book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent book,
20 to 1?
20 to 1. So what we were running last year, which now I don't have up again, which that could be something else I do. So last year, 2021, we were running contact temp. Running, Sorry.
It is 21. Cold plates are 50 to 1.
Okay, so in 2021, our best month was an 8 to 1. Things started tightening up, and we started to get to a 10 to 1, 13 to 1, 14 to 1. This year, since things are getting a little crazy, and interest rates, inflation, and everything else, what do you think our conversions are? Average of third quarter,
18 to 1.
17 to 1. So we're climbing. What does that tell us? We can adjust the contact attempts in order to meet the demand. When the pandemic first hit, I ran the numbers. We had to work 4 times harder to get the same result when it first hit. But we hit all-time records because the numbers told me what to do. I didn't get emotional over it.
Like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. No, I was like, oh, okay. We ran this first one. Oh, it was a terrible conversions. All right, back to the 4 times the work. Gotcha. So we'll just put in 4 times the work. Yeah, right. Work harder.
Work harder.
Yeah. Which it told me numerical
Yeah.
how hard I need to work, which gives you power. You're like, oh, I just have to hit that number today. Less sleep, but we get to eat, so that's fun, right? Yeah. So, and again, I'm gonna send you all this stuff, and yes, I should have printed it out. Auto, it's not so auto unless Kim, you can figure out the formulas on this thing. I have issues with it. I've tried
You
it.
have to do it by month. You have to do like every formula by a week.
Because what happens is once you put in the week, and once I add up this and I add it to January, I delete all the numbers out of that.
Well, why? Sorry.
Because because at the end of the year, I just want my monthly numbers, which I guess if I went crazier, I would want what January 3rd did in 2021 versus January 3rd in 2022. I don't go that deep.
I mean,
I just look at the monthly numbers.
I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could just actually like copy paste the formulas.
Yeah.
And start a new sheet, but it would be a little more intense because you have to do it by week, and the week's not gonna fall directly in 1 month. It's gonna maybe half a week falls in.
Yeah, exactly.
It would take things,
Yeah.
So it would take a lot of formulas. You could do it, but it would take a little while.
Yeah. So I said no, and I'll pull out my little
Yeah,
calculator.
no, I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
I need to like do this.
Oh, true,
Maybe
true.
not.
Well, if you make it happen, share it with the group. Sweet. There's that. And then goals and KPI. So the adjusting every quarter is definitely going to help you adjust your goals. The goals, depending on what you want to accomplish, is it closings? Obviously, that would be a KPI. Do y'all know what KPI means? Key performance indicator. So the ones you really, so you see all these, but what are the ones that I really need to be focusing on?
Bottom line.
You know, so, and that, right? That's a huge one.
That one.
And then closings, and then I'm saying in this market, you know, listings taken is going to be a huge KPI of that. And then contact attempts for me is huge because it's ultimately people. And this whole business is people. Every business in the world is people. Talk to more people, or just have better conversations with a limited amount of people, whatever that looks like. But that's how I figure out my KPIs. What did I miss? Because it's 10:32, so I'm 2 minutes over. KPI. Oh, thank you. Yeah. What else? This is gonna make a lot of sense when I get you the sheet. You know, it's gonna make a lot more.
No, it makes a lot of sense. It does.
Yeah.
So I just came from a background where I ran a retail store. And so like they had a lot of measurements like this. And I wish that I had been taught a more simple way to track it like this is, right? Because I would look at spreadsheets all day and thousands of data points and those type of things. It's like, this makes it simple. Because then you can go back and look at what's causing them rather than trying to look at everything at once.
Yeah.
So that's a huge tool.
Yeah.
It's a huge tool. I wish I would have had it before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, starting
awesome.
your first year in the business, you
It's
know.
great. It's great.
And then this is going to be one of the cool things that you start looking at too, is your conversions, you know, of the quality of people you're talking to, the quality of points you're going. Because if you're going on, and I'll you know, wrap it up if you guys don't have any questions, but if I'm going on 10 listing appointments, but I'm taking 2 listings, right? It's not that I need to go on more listing appointments. What it is, I need to have better conversations before going on a listing appointment. Maybe I shouldn't have gone on 10. Maybe I should have went on 4 and then I took 2 out of the 4. But what am I really saying over the phone, or what's that conversation look like? The numbers will point like, hey, crazy, look at this. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Are you going to address this? You know, this is what you're able to go back to and really look at. And the numbers are going to be just blaring on what you need to fix in your business. And you don't have to rely on anybody. No one has to look over your shoulder. It's gonna your whole output that you've created is gonna tell you where you need to put more output or less output or input. You know what I'm saying? No questions?
And you said you use Line Desk for your.
I do, but
number?
let's forget that.
No, for the phone.
I hate it.
What do you use?
Lion
for-
Desk.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
So I'm just gonna open Lion Desk app real quick.
So is it okay still though, like when you do your contacts and stuff like that, to use?
Shut down. This thing shuts down all the time and screws up. Yeah, if you're watching, you screw up all the time, Lion Desk. I gave a lot to Lion Desk. Been on their podcast and all this, but they've really just been, it's been terrible. So don't use Lion Desk.
So, but is it okay to still just use your personal number if I don't mind getting, I get blown up by spam anyway, so. just use my personal
Sure,
number
especially
or-
starting out. I mean, I think
Yeah.
eventually, absolutely, you need to move away from that because think of yourself as a business. When a practice sells their business, they're selling their phone number as well, right? Including their database, all that's tied to it. Also, if you ever want to go on vacation, you get sick, whatever that might be, you can put somebody else's phone number underneath that phone number to take the incoming calls or texts, not you, right? Or if you pass away, right? Your business can be moved over or sold to somebody else with that number. And it doesn't stop that whole database from reaching out to the new buyer because they don't have a phone number. So just think long term.
Yeah.
It will make more sense.
Other services that y'all use that have different numbers?
KB Cord has.
I know Katie,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Smart
So you
number.
just.
Yeah.
I use the smart number, it's like $27 a month,
Mhm.
and then, like, it's cool, like, once people initially get over that first text message, because.
And I got something for that, though.
Opt out,
So I'll say that offline on how I get around that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
Well, because
I had
I
to,
know if I see
that's a
something
fail
like that,
forward
I'm
on mine.
like, Sales, here we go again.
And everyone, and especially these days, they're like, nah, heck no. Especially when the politics stuff was going on, you were getting beat up left and right. People were like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. Or you got even the realtors texting you about healthcare all the time.
When I did it, I just told them, like,
Tell you what, sorry.
most of the people that I know knew I was transitioning into the business, so I was just like, hey, this is my business number.
Right, that's
Because I will say, like, as of
Exactly.
right now, like,
That's
my
all.
work pool is
Yep,
family
yep.
and friends right now, is my work pool. So then, but they already have my number anyway, so.
I would do
okay
it
with
just like that, like, hey, I got a new phone just so I don't have to do business when I'm not doing business.
Yeah.
And
Just be transparent and be like,
Yeah.
prepare to receive.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
I think you-
Exactly. What other questions? And this is for anybody who's live as well. Oh, I'll tell you how to get around on that. They're like, yo, I want to know. I want to tell me. I'll tell you. Any other questions? So give me a few ahas, something you took out of today, and then I'll close it up.
How closely you actually need to pay attention, like your numbers aren't just BS on there. And you don't just throw numbers out there. You have to stick to a specific number and you work from there. It's not just out in the open, like, okay, well, I'll just put this number and here we go. Because honestly, that's in my head. I was like, okay, I'm just going to guesstimate this. No, you have to follow. Like, if you don't do this, honestly, I feel like you're not going to get any return because you have to track everything so you know what to do. And like you said, especially with a market like this, it's going to go up and down. So like you were able to go back and be like, okay, what do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, so you're not guessing and just, oh gosh, like what do I do? The motions, it's numbers do not lie. And
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's why I started off
Big
with
wow.
saying numbers are the language of business. It's talking to you. Your numbers are talking to you. There's a story in the numbers. You just have to give it something in order to spit it back, the language that it wants to tell you and what you need to fix or not fix or adjust.
I like this.
Yeah.
And that was a really good breakdown, putting numbers everywhere.
Good, because if you just walked in here, you'd be like, what the
Yeah.
F
Well,
is
even
that?
me, like with my stuff, like I'm just like, okay, I have to do KB4. I have to get this, and I have there. It's nice being in a position like this because it's just so many more people's opinions and like what they do, and it helps put it all together. And then it's like, okay, so my closed-minded is now let's open it up and do like this. You don't have to just have this.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's helped.
I love it. What else?
I just was gonna say almost the same thing, but just for one thing, you can break it down so small the way you need to do per day. But then also you're not gonna, I've made the comment to you many times, I don't wanna spin my wheels somewhere I don't need to be and fix something that doesn't need to be fixed.
Yep.
So it tells you exactly.
Yep.
I mean, that's, if I didn't do anything else out there, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
Which I got a ton of it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Like 150, oh my God, 8 a day? The hell?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the simplicity when you break it down.
Yeah, so I work on the database about an hour. If I add it all up, probably an hour and a half ish a day. And last month we did 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Let's just say 800 contact attempts just last month. Me. But if you do text messages, you block it out on your calendar and you just do it, you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. You could fit a lot in that time without any help. It's very easy. You just got to run the play, you know. So about 800. So 150 is nothing, or whatever that number was. 150 is nothing. One more, and then I'll stop. I'll leave you guys alone.
You have questions?
No, just like, what'd you get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, this absolutely adds to the point that, you know, even though you're a real estate agent, this is a business. You know what I mean? If you don't keep track of what it is that you're doing, your level of success is going to be limited to referrals, you know, getting lucky offhanded leads or
Yep.
happenstance. You know
Or
what I mean?
buying leads.
Or
I've seen
buying
so
leads,
many
yeah.
people, they get trapped because they're not doing this stuff. And so they get trapped of just buying leads because it's the only way they know how to get leads is buying them. And it's a bad trap to get stuck into. Also, if you ever want to sell your business or get your business appraised, they're going to want to look at this.
Right.
They're going to know, like, okay, so what is your database actually producing? So I have almost 3,000. I'm going to hit stop. Bye, guys. I have